Yeah, indeed. I mean, how hard has it been for the Australian winemakers to diversify during these past 4 years? We heard the government there talking about that as well. But do you feel that you've had enough support from the government during this time? What do you need now?
Yeah, look, obviously, your previous clip, we obviously have been busy diversifying. Going to the Adelaide Hills, we're kind of fortunate that we are probably, I suppose, heavier in the domestic market, so we have been a little bit, I suppose, buffered from the China falling out. But I think it's a really good opportunity for, yes, the Australian wine industry to go back into China, but to learn from the past and continue to diversify, work into our other markets, and I suppose make sure we're a bit more resilient for the future, so we don't find ourselves in the same position.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, surely there's caution now around putting all the eggs back in China's basket. And as well, looking at the market now, you've had other big players like Chile and France sort of step in the position while we've been locked out, right?
Yeah, it's complex and it's going to take time. I've heard from our China distributor, and they're keen to get wine back on the water, but it's going to take time. There's a few more hurdles for us now to get through back into China, with some additional kind of requirements to get through into the trade. But I think all in all, it's really great news, and I think there's a lot of people who've been doing it tough. So this is really, it just gives them, I suppose, light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, indeed it does. What about, we're hearing reports, of course, about wine tanks that makers are actually struggling to get rid of because it's just not economically viable. What's the solution there?
Solution's a tricky one. It's a lot of, there's quite a diverse, I suppose, range of businesses through the wine industry. So some wine industries definitely have got an oversupply. We are seeing some other wine brands that are still tracking on quite nicely. So that's not all wineries in that position. There is definitely some oversupply, supply and demand, with China being, the tap being turned off to China kind of overnight. It definitely sent some big ripples through the industry. So I think, China's a big step in the right direction with the free trade reopening. We have got a lot of work to do as an industry to get ourselves back in balance. But I think, now is a really important time for the government to jump in and give us some extra support.
Yeah, indeed. Do you think that, I mean, it was $1 billion industry back 4 years ago. Do you think that the industry is capable of getting back to that point?
Look, I don't have a crystal ball. There's some really positive, I suppose, news coming out of China, especially talking to some businesses that have already talking to their distributors. Australia was an important, part of the Chinese wine scene. We're still well regarded, our wine quality. So although there is some other countries that have, I suppose, been filling the shelves, from what we're hearing is Australian wine is wanted back in China. So we're fairly, I suppose, optimistic that we can get some of our shelf space. $1 billion market is, it's going to take time, definitely. But we've had this current 24 been significantly lower due to the weather in tonnes. So I think, as I said, with some good support by the industry and the government, I think we can get back there.